All right, welcome everybody. We're standing by for a Donald Trump vaccine summit. We have been experiencing some internet issues today, and I really hope that they don't affect this stream. I was worried about that on Saturday night, and we were fine. Hopefully, we will also be fine today. Robert sent me a super chat where he said, I wish you would do something to finish the remaining super chats like a follow-up video. I've been left out. I get it. You're doing well, and that's awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the super chats come in so fast and furious later on that, I would have to spend 4 hours answering all of them. So they get up on the screen and I try to answer many, but it's not always possible. No intro today because I'm running a little bit behind. There was this really weird moment where it seemed as though maybe Pfizer and Moderna would be part of this summit. And it's going to be a complete propaganda event where Trump will try to essentially take credit for these vaccines that have nothing to do with him. And both Pfizer and Moderna said, no, thank you. And I think it's the right move. They are currently trying to get approval for vaccines from the FDA, the same FDA that's going to be here at this vaccine summit. So I'm glad Moderna said no, thank you. I'm glad Pfizer said no, thank you. And that is a very, very good thing. So we're standing by for Donald Trump, the White House feed. We have a Fox News feed. Joe Biden also having an event soon to introduce some health team appointees. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was very weird. Yesterday, Donald Trump awarded former wrestler Dan Gable the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And as it was wrapping up, reporters started asking Trump questions. And Trump just sort of looked around and then wandered off. And then he left Dan Gable in the Oval Office to say, well, he's gone. This is really weird. Let me get us a little more volume just so we hear it properly. Check this. Check out how weird this is.
Mr. President, one more question about the inauguration. Thank you very much.
And off he goes. Bye-bye.
Congratulations. He's gone.
He's gone. Yes. Just as quickly as he came, he left. And really, really great comedy writing. I mean, you can't write stuff any better than this. Really, really strange moment. Snorlax is asking me my favorite Pokemon. I have no idea. I don't know anything about Pokemon. Can I take a moment to talk about the Arizona Republican Party and the rest of the Republicans calling for violence? I haven't seen that, so I wouldn't be able to say. I know the Arizona legislature is shut down because of Rudy's COVID. Jenna Ellis also now got the COVID, which is pretty wild and shocking, right? I mean, traveling around with Rudy Giuliani farting on her 4 times during a recent hearing. Very, very difficult to imagine, How could she possibly have gotten it? Okay, what else do I have? Oh, here's something interesting. We have so many of these song parodies now that I now am maintaining a database where I can sort by meme, for example. So let's say if we wanted the massive dumps meme, I would have a number of different thematic elements here. So we could, for example, pull one of them up and then we would have a song.
Big, massive dumps.
And then if we wanted a different one, I could say, okay, we want to stay in the massive dumps category, but let's instead go to DJ Physics song. Oh, but where is this one? Massive dumps. Here it is.
This election was over, and then they did dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps. In Michigan, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So, and then similarly, if I wanted to instead, sort by author, we could do that. So we could be like, okay, let's see what Jethro Bradley has brought us. And Jethro Bradley had, for example, the Rudy Giuliani fart song as an example, which is a great one as well.
They didn't bother to interview a single witness. Just like you, they don't want to know the truth. Well, you probably know the truth.
Okay, so there's Rudy passing gas. But the content of this was also disgusting. This went on for hours.
Witness.
Okay, you guys get it. So my request to you is, I'm sure there are songs here. There are songs missing, rather, that we've played, and I'm trying to create the master database. So if you're the author of a song that I've played on stream and it's not here, let me know so I can add it. We also had, Boner Show was another meme, and we have the original clip here. This was the source of that meme.
Let's remind you that we have a tremendous bonus show. Oh, boy.
And that was subsequently turned into this song by Betazoid.
Oh, boy. Let's remind you that we have a tremendous bonus show. Oh, boy. Boner.
Okay, so anyway, I'm building out this database. I would appreciate your help in so doing, because it's a very, very important database to have. Okay, what else do we have here? Big thank you to Poof's Buttock Plug for gifting 10 subscriptions via Twitch. And in fact, that's a total of 11 gifted during the stream, which I very much appreciate. We are counting website memberships and Twitch subs towards our goal. We also have, Rusty Lewis says more songs to come from Rusty Lewis. Oh, that's great. Amplitude says, I heard you play that voicemail from the guy trashing your mouth. That hurt my feelings. I love your mouth. Yeah, it was an aggressive one. Let me see if I have any other voicemails, speaking of which, before we go any further. It doesn't look like I do. Let me check one other voicemail. Let me check the voicemail that Jimmy from Philly typically calls into. See if I've got any voicemails there. Voicemails, let's see here. The voicemails from Jimmy lately have been cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. No, I just got this. This is the latest one from him.
David, Jimmy from Philly. I'm sick and fucking tired of listening to your bullshit about unhinged Trump supporters and this and that. Why don't you and I have a little debate on what's really happening? You can't withstand it, David. You're so full of shit, so obviously deceitful. You make me sick, David. I got my hat's off to you that you can
This guy doesn't like unhinged people, right?
bullshit over 1 million people, and most of these people don't even research anything you say. They don't refute it at all. So you can basically, when you get that kind of feedback or non-feedback or whatever they're called, you can fucking basically dictate whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Congratulations, David. That in itself is a feat. You are the 2020 winner of deceit. Yeah, my information, motherfucker. Fuck your cappuccino.
And that last line about my cappuccino was actually turned into a song parody as well. Let me see if I can find, if we sort by theme here, I should have a Jimmy from Philly area. Here it is, caller Jimmy from Philly cappuccino. And so we got this out of it. I've not listened to this. Let's listen to it together and see what it's about.
David, Jimmy from Philly. I'm sick and fucking tired of listening to your bullshit about unhinged Trump supporters and this and that. You're so full of shit.
Right.
I got my hat's off to you. You can't withstand it, David. Yeah, my information, motherfucker. Fuck your cappuccino. Fuck your cappuccino.
So very, very powerful track, ominous in a way. I would even argue. Okay, so we got that, and then I also want to say thanks to Stephanie Morion, who is new member number 12 today at joinpacman.com. Very much appreciate it. Okay, Chakoseki, who's a physician, says, David, be careful. If you get COVID, you may never have a boner show again because of newly discovered side effects. Protect your cuke for OnlyFans. Yeah, That is important. And I even think I have the OnlyFans call. Yeah, check this out. This was a funny call I got the other day. Very forward viewer who was, making very important points right away. Take a listen.
Hey, David, it's me. I just was wondering if you've ever reconsidered making an OnlyFans.
Whoops, sorry, if I've done making an omelet, what?
No, making an OnlyFans. Gardening season is over, and it's time for you to show us your zucchini.
That's very clever. No, listen, I think I'd be more likely to show my Granny Smith apples than any Zooks, to be perfectly frank, Flippy.
That works too.
Yeah. No, but I am on Cameo, which I think is like the work safe OnlyFans, right?
Well, that works. Well, thank you.
And by the way, where does the name Flippy come from?
Oh, just an alias online.
Oh, does it have any meaning?
No.
Does it relate to like a floppy disk, for example? Remember those 5 1/4 inchers?
Oh, it's supposed to be like flippy floppy, like a stupid way to call flip flops.
Oh, I got it. By the way, are you cleaning a violin in the background?
No, birds. Sorry.
Oh, it's birds. Oh, okay. All right, very good. Well, listen, I really appreciate the call. So that was a pretty strong moment on the show. Very, very interesting. And yeah, appreciate it. Mommy Chickson has subscribed on Twitch and says Trump tried to cheat in PA, but didn't have enough votes. He won but millions. Okay. Also, thanks to an anonymous gifter for gifting 10 subs on Twitch, which puts us at plus 13, also known as 25. Other super chats talk about the Texas lawsuit a bit. I did not see the Texas lawsuit, so I'm not sure about that yet. Got to get caught up on a lot of these elements. Superficially speaking, having 13 justices would also be poetic given our nation was comprised of 13 colonies. Fair, that's interesting. I've come around on the idea of expanding SCOTUS, preferably adding 4 to get a Democratic majority. Interesting. David, I heard that Pompeo's Christmas Rager now sports an eggnog ice luge and an Ann Coulter-esque stripper named Candy Cane. Be aware of mistletoe. Beware of the mistletoe. I didn't hear that. And Bolo Turner says, love the new profile picture, David. This message brought to you by radical liberal Raphael Warnock. I'm fighting for the American dream. Oh, I have a clip of that as well. I don't know if you guys remember. Many of us watched that debate together on Sunday, and it was really weird. Check this out. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, check out the repetition, the crazy of one of our viewers made this. This was the debate the other day.
I'm fighting for Chuck Schumer. No, Chuck Schumer's, Chuck Schumer's, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi to live the American dream, 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 the American dream. And the agent of change is my opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, radical liberal Raphael Warnock. Radical liberal Raphael Warnock, 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 radical liberal Raphael Warnock is their agent of change.
But all those things that you're warning about would not be happening, presumably, with
This is not repeat, by the way.
President Trump as president. So it almost sounds as though you're conceding that that part of it has been settled, and now it's important for the Republicans to keep the majority in the Senate to have a divided government.
I was born and raised on a farm. I was born and raised on a farm. I was born and raised on a farm. I grew up working in the fields. I grew up working in the fields. I waitressed my way through school. I waitressed my way through high school and college. And I was the first in my family to graduate from college. I'm Kelly Loeffler. I'm a threat to our children.
Okay, that last thing was an edit. I'm a threat to my children. She didn't really say that. So very, very interesting stuff. Very nicely done. Very, very nicely done. Big thank you to Shot X Thomas, who has subscribed with Prime and says, the American dream, quoting Kelly Loeffler, who really deserves to lose. Also, big thank you to Linda Lobo, who has subscribed at joinpacman.com. and is our newest member. Just a very quick reminder, the best way to support the work we do, right above my head, joinpacman.com, coupon code Fresh Start. It's that simple, my friends. Joinpacman.com, coupon code Fresh Start. A lot of people, sadly, and this is very, very sad, having to cancel memberships because of COVID. It pains me to see it. One example is Alex, who wrote to me. Look at this from Alex. I am sorry. Good evening, Mr. Pacman. So formal. It's unfortunate, but I have ended my membership, at least for now, because I have been unemployed since March, and my family and I are unsure when we'll feel it's safe for me to be in a real-life workplace again. I will remain subscribed to the show's YouTube channel. I'm sorry. So a lot of people having to cancel. I would love it if you joined at joinpacman.com. I will announce names as we will hear from Prump, apparently. Video not live over here yet. Kids coming in, and I don't know what's going on, to be honest. It looks like we don't even have live video yet, or live audio, rather.
You told the American people that we would have a vaccine before the end of the year.
Oh my God, what a propaganda event.
Some scoffed at that timetable.
The vaccine by the end of this year, is that possible in your view?
Oh, Brian, you know, it's another day of POTUS in Wonderland here. It is preposterous.
Could be January, could be later. We don't know.
So the whole process is going to take a year and a half at least.
They're certainly not going to be ready to start poking people in the arms real soon.
I still think 12 to 18 months is an aggressive schedule, and I think it's going to take longer than that to do so.
There's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
It is impossible to get that done by the end of the year.
Operation Warp Speed is unequaled and unrivaled anywhere in the world.
This is wild.
The single greatest mobilization in U.S.
Thanks,
history.
Anna, for the membership.
Developing and manufacturing therapies and vaccines in record time.
Operation Warp Speed is doing something that's never been done before in history.
The first Americans will get shots in arms in the second
Thanks,
half
Alex, as well.
of December. That's incredible, Elizabeth. The timeline has just been jaw-dropping.
We were able to and empowered to make all.
Has a vaccine ever had a trailer, a dramatic movie trailer before?
It is true. This is Warp Speed. Warp Speed is being run in a non-political way, in a way we can be proud of.
We believe we're going to have people getting vaccinated, millions of people, before Christmas this year. It's just unheard of in the history of public health, this accomplishment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Oh my God, this is weaponized. Good thing Moderna and Pfizer refused to be here. If they had been here, it would have been sick. I respect them for saying no.
Thank you very much. Please. How are you, Admiral? Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. I'm honored to welcome doctors, scientists, industry executives, and state and local leaders to our historic Operation Warp Speed Vaccine Summit. It's been some journey for all of us.
What a
It's been
summit.
an incredible success. We're grateful to be joined by Vice President Mike Pence, who has done an absolutely incredible job on the coronavirus task force. Mike, thank you. Stand up, Mike. Great job.
Imagine cheering Pence.
We're here to discuss a monumental national achievement. From the instant the coronavirus invaded our shores, we raced into action to develop a safe and effective vaccine
my
at
goodness.
breakneck speed. It would normally take 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or even more.
Not with an mRNA
To achieve
platform.
this goal, we harnessed the full power of government, the genius of American scientists, and the might of American industry to save millions and millions of lives all over the world. We're just days away from authorization from the FDA, and we're pushing them hard.
Shouldn't be pushing them. Let them do their job.
Mass distribution. Before Operation Warp Speed, the typical time frame for development and approval, as you know, could be infinity.
Yeah.
And
it's because we have a different vaccine platform. You guys know that.
Things done at a level that nobody has ever seen before. The gold standard vaccine has been done in less than 9 months. On behalf of the entire nation, I want to thank everyone here today who has been involved in this extraordinary American initiative. I also want to recognize members of my administration who have worked tirelessly in this effort. Alex Azar, please, Alex. Where's Alex?
Alex Azar,
You,
that's
Alex.
hilarious.
Great job.
And it never should have happened.
Monsef Slawi, where are you, Monsef? Thank you very much. Great job. A man who's now going to be very important, General Gus Perna. I have no doubt about it, right? Logistics. Jared Kushner's worked so hard. Where's Jared? Jared, wherever you may
Kushner,
be.
what did he have to do with it?
Thank you, Jared. Dr. Deborah Birx. Deborah?
Is this like the mission accomplished moment?
Admiral Brett Guar. Where is Brett?
GWAR.
Great job you've been doing, Brett. Surgeon General Jerome Adams. Jerome, thank you very much. Terrific. Dr. Robert Redfield. Robert, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Imagine we have 4% of the population, 25% of the deaths, and they're declaring this over before anyone's been vaccinated. It's mental illness. It really is.
Peter. Where's Peter? Thank you. Paul Mango, Adam Bowler, and Brad Smith. Thank you.
I didn't know Paul Mango was involved. I thought it was Stephen Papaya who actually did it.
Incredible job, and many others also. Many, many others. We're also grateful to be joined by Governors Greg Abbott. Where's Greg? Bill Lee. Bill? Thank you.
If Paul Mango's there, Tim Apple better the hell be there.
Ron DeSantis. Ron. Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job, Ron. And John Bell Edwards. John Bell. Thank you. Thank you, John Bell. Thank you very much. As well as Senator John Barrasso, who's a fantastic doctor also, by the way, I have to say.
Trump announcing a vaccine for something that's not serious like the flu, but he won because they finally got the vaccine, even though it's not necessary and his supporters won't take it.
Great win. That was easier than you thought, it turned out, right? It was a little easier than you thought. Great going. We're proud of you. Congressman Greg Walden. Greg, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Congressman Brad Wenstrup. Thank you, Brad. Great job. And many, many others. My administration provided a total of $14 billion to accelerate vaccine development.
Neither Moderna or Pfizer took it.
The top candidates in advance, long in advance. As a result of this unprecedented investment, we are exceedingly proud that both Pfizer and Moderna have announced that their vaccines are approximately 95% effective, which is a number that nobody expected to be able to get to, far exceeding anything that really that anybody thought. We went out and we said, what do you think a maximum would be? And I think doctors, we all came up to the conclusion that something like that would be really incredible. We have other candidates looking right now. We have some big ones that we're going to be announcing very soon. We have some companies, great companies out there you all know about.
How is the UK already vaccinating people?
They're all coming in, and they're coming in very quickly. We expect to have some news on that very shortly. And we have worked very well with the companies, but if for any reason we have any problems, we will be instituting the Defense Production Act, and we will make sure that we don't have any problems for very long. We've instituted it before. 2 additional companies, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. As you know, the Johnson & Johnson's a one-dose, one-shot vaccine, so we're going to see how that works. That would be very helpful if that all came out, and I think it probably will. Also, they're showing tremendous promise, all of them, tremendous problem. We're very hopeful that the FDA will authorize the Pfizer vaccine within days. We've got to get it moving. And Moderna vaccine almost immediately thereafter. Large numbers of tests and samples have been done, so hopefully that'll go very quickly. If authorized, tens of millions of vaccine doses will be
massive
available
vaccine dumps.
And we'll get it distributed very quickly. We'll have that all set, and hundreds of millions more will quickly follow. Every American who wants the vaccine will be able to get the vaccine. And we think
by July.
Spring, we're going to be in a position that nobody would have believed possible just a few months ago. Yeah.
One person felt strongly about
Really
that.
amazing. They say it's somewhat of a miracle, and I think that's true.
They do, don't they?
Forward prioritizes the elderly and patients with underlying conditions.
When Trump said we were coming out on Easter, he meant Easter of 2021.
Ultimate decision rests with the governors of the various states, and I hope the governors make wise decisions who will decide where the vaccines will go in their state and who will get them first. We urge the governors to put America's seniors first, and also I think those who work with seniors, which obviously you're going to have to do that. I think they have to go together. And doctors, nurses, first responders, etc. This will quickly and dramatically reduce deaths and hospitalizations, and within a short period of time, I think we want to get back to normal. It's a very standard phrase. We want to just get back to normal, get back to where we were a little more than 9 months ago. We're doing incredibly. And in many respects, we're still doing incredibly with our stock markets and everything else, which are hitting all new highs. We've already finalized a partnership with Walgreens and CVS, whose executives join us today. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. And they will deliver vaccines directly to nursing homes as soon as the states request that they do so. Later today, General Gus Perna will outline the detailed plan to rapidly distribute the vaccine to every state, territory, and tribe. States have designated over 50,000 sites that will receive the vaccine. We've worked very closely with the states. Actually, we've had very good relationships with the governors. I almost think all of the governors, at least in those conference calls that are somewhat secret, other than sometimes on occasion, Mike, the press will break in, which is fine too. It's amazing how you leave those rooms.
You hear that guy in the background?
10 seconds later, there wasn't even time for a leak. They were on the call, but that's all right. So you assume that. You always assume that. But they'll be going through pharmacies, hospitals, healthcare providers. Through our partnership with FedEx, UPS, and McKesson, we'll ship doses from warehouses directly to the designated sites, and we're thrilled to be joined by representatives of those really great American.
Do we know if Hepzephahide will be participating?
Incredible to work with, and I want to thank you all for being here. Please, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. As I've stated all along, and I guess as you saw pretty vividly, I heard about what they were going to show prior to my coming. You saw that very few people thought that this was possible. Of course, they'll be saying now, we always told you it was so, but we have them saying a little bit different. But it has been incredible.
It's funny because all along, what science has been saying is approval by the end of the year, some doses in December, no widespread availability until Q1 or Q2. And we're still there.
And that's very important. We work with the world. We're working with the world. We have great companies, and we're working with the world. In just a few minutes, I'll sign an executive order to ensure that the United States government prioritizes the getting out of the vaccine to
I'm going to
American
talk to you guys
citizens
about this
before
after.
sending it to other nations. Now, if necessary, I told you we'll invoke the Defense Production Act, but we don't think it'll be necessary. If it is, it's a very
right. People in the chat are pointing out Pfizer offered them more doses at the end of the summer, and Trump said no. And now Pfizer's like, well, okay, we'll give it to other countries who have bought it. And now Trump's going to try to use an executive order to figure out how to get more doses. It's everything is a tragedy of errors.
Mortality rate by 85%. Think of that, 85%. It's an incredible number. I've delivered on my solemn promise to make the antibody treatments. They're brilliant. They're highly successful.
It's unclear they work.
Available to every American, and we're doing that free of cost. Totally
the data's
free of cost. So we're making
not
them
clear.
available, and they're available now. And if somebody gets sick, it works where they go and they get treatment if that's what the doctors are prescribing. And it's been incredible, the success. And when you hear 85%, that's some number. To me, that's a number that goes along with anything else, including the vaccines, when you think about it, as well as
it goes with fries, it goes with squash, it goes with anything.
85% people People find that one hard to believe. But you look at the stats and you see what's happening. And you look at other countries. They're having tremendous difficulties in Europe, tremendous, relatively beyond what we're
Somehow
having.
they're
We're having
vaccinating
them all
people
over the
already.
world. But this will vanquish the problem, this horrible scourge, as I call it, the China virus, because that's where it came from. And the virus has really been looked at and studied all over the world, and our scientists, our industrial and economic
They've looked at the virus.
mobilization has been like nobody else in the world could have done.
This is pretty meme-worthy, I'm not going to lie. They've looked at the virus.
And other nations. I've worked and invoked the Defense Production Act over 100 times to manufacture essential supplies in the United States, despite the grim projections from the media 8 months ago where they said this was impossible. They actually said, and you saw that a little bit, but I could give you 2 hours worth of it.
Please
they
don't.
said it will never happen. You could never do it. It was a pipe dream. But we did something that nobody thought was possible, and we also did it where no American who has needed a ventilator has been denied a ventilator. When this first came out, we weren't equipped for that. Nobody was equipped for that. And we're now making ventilators, and we have all we need in this country, but we're sending them to countries all over the world. We're
Countries
making
you've never even
thousands and
heard of.
Thousands of ventilators a month. The United States has also created the largest, most advanced, and most innovative testing program in the world by far. We've conducted over 200 million tests. Think of that, 200 million tests, more than all of the European Union combined. It's not even close. Just 10 months ago, none of these innovations even existed. The tremendous progress that we've made is a testament to what our nation is capable of. When America is faced with a challenge, we come through, and we always come through to overcome every hardship and surmount every obstacle. And I think you'll be seeing that over the next few months. The numbers should skyrocket downward.
He'll be gone.
We are the most exceptional nation.
Negative skyrocket.
Today we're on the verge of another American medical miracle. And that's what people are saying. People that aren't necessarily big fans of Donald Trump are saying, whether you like him or not, this is one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern.
Remind me what Trump did to get these vaccines?
Any other medicine, any other age of medicine. American companies were the first to produce a verifiably safe and effective vaccine. Together we will defeat the virus, and we will soon end the pandemic, and we will save millions and millions of lives, both in our country and all over the world.
Maybe billions
we've
go with.
already started. Thank you again to every person here today, and for the incredible achievements that you've done. You're going to be very proud of this day, and you're going to be very proud of this period of time, because nobody thought this was possible. Nobody thought it was even remotely possible to do what we've done in a period of less than 9 months, something that just not even thinkable. And we took a lot of heat when we said this is our goal, and we frankly weren't even quite using the numbers that we used. We far exceeded what we thought. If we
made up numbers.
Sometime next year, I think most people would have said that would be great, that would be a miracle. But we did it long before sometime next year. So now I want to ask several leaders who have been crucial in this effort to join me on stage as I sign the executive order to ensure that American citizens have.
His reading's extra bad today. Crucial and stuff like that. It's weird.
And then we're going to be working with other countries all over the world. And I think we'll be able to start doing that almost immediately also, because we have millions of doses coming in. So thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor.
Wow. Is he going to be at a tiny desk again? The funny thing is, what he's signing has nothing to do with the development. He's signing something to try to get more vaccines for the U.S. and fewer for other countries. But like the signing has no relevance to getting the vaccines approved. Is he going to hold it up and do the...
So let's see here. I guess we have to do our vice president, right?
Those are just unused Sharpies.
Spread that around. Spread that well. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
There it is. Wow. Nobody knows what he signed. I'll explain to you what he signed. It's actually pretty sick. I'll explain it in a moment.
Any questions, please?
Oh, questions. Will you admit you lost? Will you go to the inauguration? OAN, please.
Thank you all. Any questions, please? Question? Yes, please.
Given all the increasing cases right now, about what they should do over Christmas and the hardship that they're all facing as this.
I think that's Jeff Mason from
CDC
Reuters.
puts out their guidelines, and they're very important guidelines. But I think that the vaccine was our goal. That was number one because that was the way. It was the way it ends. Plus, you do have an immunity. You develop immunity over a period of time. And I hear we're close to 15%. I'm hearing that. And that is terrific. That's a very powerful vaccine in itself.
What?
And just tremendous progress has been made. One of the reasons we do show so many, and I say this and I've been saying it for a long time, so many cases is because of the fact that we have 200 million tests. And you take, I think India is actually in second place with just a fraction of that number. So we're many times greater than the second.
I guess if it's 3x infections.
1.4 billion people, where our testing program has been incredible. And we actually are also coming out with new tests very shortly that will make the process even
Feels like
easier.
June again.
And you won't need doctors necessarily to do the tests. So we have some incredible tests coming out in a very short period of time. Yeah, please.
Some of these scientific officials here in this room have encouraged Americans not to travel this holiday season, not to go to large gatherings. Across the street, you've been holding holiday parties with hundreds of people, many not wearing masks. Why are you modeling a different behavior to the American people than what you're
Beautiful.
Well, they're Christmas parties, and frankly, we've reduced the number very substantially.
Oh, if it's Christmas, then go ahead. Oh.
Parties wearing masks. I mean, I would say that
the virus respects
I look out
Jesus.
at the audience at those parties, we have a lot of people wearing masks, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, please, over here. Go ahead.
The next administration will be the one ultimately that implements a lot of the distribution of this vaccine and will oversee much of the future of the way Operation Warp Speed goes forward. Why not include members of the Biden transition team as part of this summit that you're hosting today?
Well, we're going to have to see who the next administration is because we won in those swing states.
Oh, God.
There was terrible things that went on, so we're going to have to see who the next administration
Nasty.
is. But whichever the next administration is will really benefit by what we've been able to do with this incredible science, the doctors, all of the people that came up, the lab technicians. The work that's been done is incredible, and it will be incredible for the next administration. And hopefully the next administration will be the Trump administration, because you can't steal hundreds of thousands of votes. You can't have fraud and deception and all of the things that they did and then slightly win a swing state. And you just have to look at the numbers,
the curb
look at
theme.
what's been on tape, look at all the corruption, and we'll see. You can't win an election like that. So hopefully the next administration will be the Trump administration, a continuation, which has led us to the highest stock markets we've ever had, the best employment numbers we've ever had, a rebuilt military. If you look at the tax reductions are the greatest in history. The regulation reductions, the greatest in history. It leads us to Space Force, which nobody thought was possible.
Space Force.
All of the things we've done.
Questions about him losing. He's talking about Space Force.
Let's see whether or not somebody has the courage, whether it's a legislator or legislatures, or whether it's a justice of the Supreme Court or a number of justices of the Supreme Court.
CHOORS.
Let's see if they have the courage to do what everybody in this country knows is right. I received almost 75 million votes, the highest number of votes in the history of our country for a sitting president. 12 million more than the 63 million we received 4 years ago. President Obama received 3 million less in his second term, and he won easily. I received 12 million more, which, by the way, is a record.
What a
12
moron.
million more. And they say that when the numbers came out, and the numbers came through machines, and all of those ballots were taken away and added. All you have to do is turn on your local television set and you see what happened with thousands of ballots coming out from under tables, with all of the terrible things you saw. All you have to do is take a look.
He can't help himself.
If somebody has the courage, I know who the next administration will be. And I'll tell you what, life will be much easier for this country because of what we've done.
If someone will steal it for him, he'll be
Because of
president.
a lot of the people in this room, the job you've done on the vaccine, together with a lot of others, has been a modern-day miracle. And it's really been acknowledged as such. And I want to
Thank you very much, everybody.
And I want to give you my thanks because you're very special people. And now, good luck. You distribute that, General, and really set records, okay? Set records just like
We have
been
no
doing
supply.
for 4 years. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Wow. It would be a comedy if it weren't a tragedy, you know? He really should be played out with a song, right? I mean...
Right now. In the name of Jesus, every antichrist spirit, we break it right now. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched. They're coming here.
Okay, anyway, so that's going on. Let's check in now with Joe Biden's event. Very important event.
Driven always by science and facts, by head and by heart.
I believe this is Vivek Murthy, who will be the new Surgeon General.
Where the grandson of a poor farmer in India could be asked by the president-elect to look out for the health of an entire nation. That is a testament to the promise of America, one that I will seek to fulfill every day as Surgeon General.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And thank you again, Mr. President-elect and Madam Vice President-elect, for this opportunity to serve.
Wow. Sanitization happening there. We've got Joe Biden. We've got Kamala Harris. That's Dr. Vivek Murthy.
Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, I am honored by the trust you have placed in me to serve the American people during this critical time. I want to thank my amazing husband and our 3 wonderful sons for answering this call along with me. As all doctors and public servants know, these jobs ask a great deal not only of us, but of our families. The pandemic that brought me here today is one—
I believe this is Dr. Rochelle Walensky, MGH, Chief of Infectious Disease, who will run the CDC. She'll be replacing Dr. Robert Redfield.
HIV/AIDS crisis. As a medical student, I saw firsthand how the virus ravaged bodies and communities. Inside the hospital, I witnessed people lose strength and hope.
It is.
While outside the hospital, I witnessed those same patients, mostly gay men and members of vulnerable communities, be stigmatized and marginalized by their nation and many of its leaders. A scientific breakthrough came in 1995 when the FDA approved the first AIDS cocktail, and we saw the first glimmers of hope. I've dedicated my career ever since to researching and treating infectious diseases and to ending the HIV/AIDS crisis for good. Now, a new virus is ravaging us. It's striking hardest once again at the most vulnerable, the marginalized, the underserved. Nearly 15 million Americans have been infected. Over 280 million loved ones are gone. The pain is accelerating. Our defenses have worn down.
I think she meant 280,000.
We are losing life and hope at an alarming rate. I never anticipated I would take on a role helping lead our national response, and government service was never part of my plan. But every doctor knows that when a patient is coding, your plans don't matter. You answer the code. And when the nation is coding, if you are called to serve, you serve. You run to take care of people, to stop the bleeding, to stabilize, to give them hope and a fighting chance to come back stronger. That's what doctors do. I'm honored to work with an administration that understands that leading with science is the only way to deliver breakthroughs, to deliver hope, and to bring our nation back to full strength. To the American people and to each and every one of you at the CDC, I promise to work with you to harness the power of American science, to fight this virus and prevent unnecessary illness and deaths so that we can all get back to our lives. Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, I thank you for this opportunity.
Shouldn't she be insulting someone or attacking somebody's character, maybe? This is so weird. Rochelle Walensky from here in Boston will run the CDC.
Mr. President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect, thank you so much for this opportunity to serve the American people. I'm proud to go to work with leaders who are deeply committed to science and to centering equity in our response to this pandemic. And not as a secondary concern, not as a box to check, but as a shared value, woven into all of the work that we do and prioritized
Someone's whispering.
by every member of the Biden-Harris team. I'm enormously thankful to my research team and to my colleagues, to President Salovey and the other leadership here at Yale for supporting me in this work. And I'm grateful to all of the researchers and advocates who've blazed the trail, whose work on health equity and racial justice too often went unbelieved or overlooked across the generations. Most of all, I'm thankful to my family, to Jesse and our 3 children for their unwavering support and humor, and to my mother and her mother for modeling kindness, generosity, and courageous leadership through service. I have wanted to be a doctor since I was 6 years old, and I'm a proud general internal medicine physician today. But as I grew up, I came to understand that there were deeper dimensions to health beyond what I saw in the human biology textbooks that I borrowed from my mother's bookshelf. I grew up on St. Thomas in the US Virgin Islands, a place where people too often died too young from preventable conditions. My own father had his first stroke in his 40s and was left paralyzed. I learned there was a term for what we were, an underserved community, marginalized by place and by race. In my medical training, I saw countless patients whose conditions were shaped by factors having nothing to do with science and everything to do with broader social inequity. And now the COVID-19 crisis has laid those inequities bare. It is not a coincidence, and it is not a matter of genetics, that more than 70% of African Americans and more than 60% of Latinx Americans personally know someone who has been hospitalized or died from COVID-19. The same disparities ingrained in our economy, our housing system, our food system, our justice system, and so many other areas of our society have conspired in this moment to create a grief gap that we cannot ignore. It is our societal
I see people talking about Latinx. As many of you know, I'm Latino. It's not a term that I use for both linguistic and cultural reasons, but probably not the top subject right now.
As we emerge from this crisis and rebuild, including for those most marginalized communities, the undocumented, the incarcerated, the homeless. I'm grateful for this chance to continue this work, to earn trust and to find success through genuine partnerships with the people and communities who've been hit the hardest during and before the crisis. On this team, you will be heard, you will be counted, and you will be valued. Thank you.
Wow.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris.
Here we go.
Thank you so much for asking me to be part of this COVID response team.
Chief Medical Advisor.
I hope that you don't mind that our reason that I am sending this video is because a close friend and colleague at the NIH, Dr. Harvey Alter, is receiving the Nobel Prize in Medicine at the same time, and we wanted to attend the ceremony at the NIH to show our support. Such an achievement is a reminder of the incredible public servants we have at the NIH and of America's place as a pioneer in science and medicine. I believe, as you do, that in the fight against this pandemic, we must lead with science, and that a key piece of our ongoing work is communicating consistently with the American people. Whether it's maintaining social distancing and not congregating indoors, or the 100-day challenge you described on masking,
Trump's not going to like
or
this.
to get as many people vaccinated as possible. These actions are bold, but they are doable and essential to help the public avoid unnecessary risks, to help us save lives, reopen schools and businesses, and to eventually beat the pandemic. I look forward to advising you on these most urgent priorities and to work with this team of world-class experts whom I have known for many years and deeply respect. I have been through many public health crises before, but this is the toughest one we have ever faced as a nation. The road ahead will not be easy. We have got a lot of hard and demanding work to do in the next year. But as we have done during previous crises, I also know we can get through this pandemic together as a nation. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this effort.
Together. One more cleaning. Turning the page. Beautifully done.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, I'm honored by your trust in me and humbled by the task at hand. And I am hopeful because of your leadership. As it is for both of you, everything starts with family for me. And I'm forever grateful for the love and support of my wife, our children, and our parents. Mr. President-elect, we've known each other for a long time.
Anyone know who this is?
And our relationship has been forged under immense pressure. The severity of the Great Recession, the challenge of implementing the Affordable Care Act, and the daily decisions a White House makes that affect the lives of millions of Americans. You and President Obama knew how to build a team with the right diversity of backgrounds and views, a team to make progress on difficult situations and capture enormous opportunities. That's what I've tried to do throughout my career. I'm not a doctor or a public health expert. In fact, we've got the best ones in the world on this team.
Oh, this is Jeff Zients, COVID czar incoming.
And the key part of the role you've asked me to take on is the last part, coordinator. It's about empowering experts, developing a culture of teamwork, and maintaining a focus on strategy and execution. It's knowing that leadership requires expertise, transparency, and prioritization. It also requires trust, truth, and integrity.
All right, low energy guy, but competence
To the American
matters.
people, that's what this team will provide. We will utilize the full capacity of the federal government to get this pandemic under control. to harness and examine the data to expand testing, to deliver equipment and PPE to those on the front lines.
Guys, I get that his suit and tie are terrible, but competence is what we care about here.
To operate safely, to address the racial disparities and inequities of this pandemic, to rejoin the global fight against COVID-19, because no one is safe until everyone is safe. And with our collective expertise, we will oversee the rollout of the vaccine, which, as the president-elect said, will be one of the greatest operational challenges our country has ever faced. And we also will pull the country together across governments at the federal, state, and local levels, and across the private sector. And as we begin this work, Mr. President-elect, I remember what you told me when we were implementing the Affordable Care Act. Your message was, I know this is no small task. I know
Yeah, it's not like Trump suits make any sense either.
there's pressure to succeed, and we want and need the team to pull this off. You then said, I know you and the team can do this, but I need to promise me one thing, that you will always, always give it to us straight, because we have to understand the challenge we're facing. Because most of all, we're in this together, and together we can do this. President-elect Biden, Vice President-elect Harris, and the American people, this team will always give it to you straight. The work ahead will not be easy, but we know what needs to be done, and we will get it done together. Thank you.
Wow. And another cleaning of the lectern. And we will hear from VP-elect Kamala Harris.
Well, congratulations, Mr. President-elect, on nominating and appointing a most outstanding team to get this pandemic under control. And thank you to these accomplished physicians and experts and public servants for answering the call to serve the American people in this critical hour of need. Over Thanksgiving, the president-elect and I called healthcare workers who are on the front lines of this pandemic, just to thank them. We wanted to express our gratitude and our nation's gratitude for everything they have been doing, for every sacrifice they have made. That day, I spoke with 2 registered nurses, Maureen in Pennsylvania and Talisa in Illinois. They shared stories that we've all heard. We've all heard the stories about grandmothers and grandfathers, loved ones and friends spending their last moments alone. We've all heard about nurses and physicians who are physically and mentally exhausted, trying to keep up with ever-increasing caseloads. Those on the front line who say to each other, it's not a matter of when, right? Or it's a matter not of when, but when they will get the virus. So it is a matter of when and not if they get the virus. This is what they're saying to each other every day. We've all heard about healthcare workers without the supplies and equipment they need to care for patients and save lives. So today, we have a message for Talisa, Maureen, and all Americans. Help is on the way, and it is long overdue. The scale of this pandemic is heartbreaking. As you know and have heard, almost 15 million cases, more than 2,800 deaths in a single day. And then there is the economic devastation, the lost jobs, the small businesses shuttered, not to mention what's happening to our schools, the parents and teachers who are being stretched to their limits, and the toll it's taking on the mental health and well-being of our children who risk each day falling behind. opening our schools and economy safely and responsibly, getting this virus under control. All of it starts with listening to experts and leaders like these, Americans who reflect the very best of our nation. They are top physicians, public health experts, and public servants. And they are the team that the American people need and deserve to make sure testing and treatment are free for everyone, to make sure vaccines are safe, free, and equitably distributed, to make sure we are better prepared for future pandemics and other health threats, and to make sure quality, affordable health care is available to all. From an early age, I saw the life-saving work that our healthcare professionals provide, especially for the most vulnerable among us. You see, my mother was a breast cancer researcher, and my sister and I spent many hours roaming the hallways of the hospital where she worked. I'm sure your kids have too. And it's why I actually later co-founded an auxiliary group to help patients at the county hospital in Oakland, California, more than 20 years ago. It's why we need to protect and expand the Affordable Care Act. And it's why we have to listen to frontline healthcare workers like Maureen and Talisa. In fact, during our conversation, Talisa said, we wouldn't send our soldiers to battle without the gear they need. And we shouldn't then send our doctors and our nurses.
Except we kind of did during the Iraq War. Remember when the Bush administration, well, maybe some of you weren't following it at the time, was undersupplying soldiers. We actually do that. We shouldn't, but.
Everything we can to save lives and contain this pandemic once and for all. Getting this virus under control is one of the defining challenges of our time. And we will do what the American people have always done in the face of a great challenge. We will stand together and we will defeat it. Thank you. Thank you, President.
And is that the full event? I guess it is. Or maybe not. Yes, it is. There goes Joe Biden. All right. We had the Trump vaccine propaganda event, which seems to be continuing, actually.
To assess whether the vaccine is efficacious or not.
Okay, so now they're just doing other elements of it. We had both events. We covered them. I so appreciate everybody joining me tonight, exclusive to Twitch. I'm getting a chess lesson from Grandmaster Benjamin Feingold tonight. I think it's 8-something Eastern. All right, so join me there. Twitch.tv/David Pakman. Follow if you're watching on Twitch. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I'll see everybody very soon.